Hello, and welcome to the In-App Inspector, where we look at free-to-play monetization from the player's perspective. This week we're looking at Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is the latest card battler from EA. So I've been playing this for a little while, as you can see, just to the right of my ugly mug, level 16, so which isn't immensely high, but definitely enough to get a general gist, an idea of the game and how it monetizes. So if we start off with, let's have a look at how the game plays. So as you can see, we're full 3D. It looks very nice. And what I did there, I just pressed the auto button in the top corner, because although you can play this as like a turn-based strategy style thing, from the start you're given the option to just press a button and all your battles will automate themselves, which is quite unusual for a Western game especially, but that's because the game itself isn't down to skill particularly. It's just about whoever has the best squad will win, essentially. And in this instance, I think I'm going to struggle. But yeah, so the actual gameplay, this battle aspect, isn't really what the game is, and it isn't what it's about. The real meat of the game and the interactive element is getting new cards or new characters, and building them up, upgrading them, things like that. That it's definitely focused around retention first and monetization second, especially playing this the week after Mobile Strike. So if you're interested in that, I did a video and an article on that last week. But compared to that, it's night and day in terms of how that bombards you immediately with ads, and it's a very hard sell. Whereas this is completely the opposite. It takes a long time for it to start rolling out its starter bundles and things like that. It wants to make sure you're invested and interested before it starts selling you things, which I think is a much better system. But yeah, so here we go. I've just lost, and this is what the defeat screen looks like. So directs you straight back to here, which I might as well show you what my squad looks like. So as you can see, it's not the best squad. So this guy, Count Dooku, he came in a starter bundle I bought, which was a dark side starter bundle. So it's quite odd that it's called a starter bundle actually, because it doesn't get dropped till level 11, which again is complete contrast to Mobile Strike, which tries to monetize you straight away as a genuine beginner. Whereas by level 11, you have an idea whether you like the game, whether you are actually interested in spending on it or not. But a lot of it just seemed to be about getting you to come back, making, endearing you to it almost. So here's what I was talking about. So once you fill all of these slots around him here, then you can upgrade him. But if you go on tap on find, then it tells you where. Well, it isn't actually in this one. But here we go. This is what. Yeah, and it tells you where you can find the relevant items. So if I went there and fought it, I'm not going to. But if I went there and did it, then there's a chance that it would drop, and then I could go back and put it into his character, things like that. So there's always solutions that don't involve paying money, basically, which is one of the great things about the game. So I'll just go back and show you more about the currencies. So from left to right you have energy, credits, which is the soft currency, and then these purple things are crystals. So this is what they look like in the store. So ranging right up to sort of $99 territory from very low. But this is what I thought was interesting and sums up what I was saying about retention is key here. They've got the daily crystal booster for 7 days, which obviously works for you and the developer, because it's almost if you paid for that, that's a 7-day guarantee that you'll keep going back. And especially in the early stage, that's quite a large guarantee by free-to-play standards. To keep coming back for a week is a big deal. seen as a lot of players are lost literally after the first session. So EA is obviously really keen on making sure that it's as sticky as it can possibly be. So this is the squad as you saw before. So I'll just show you a quick upgrade process of this little Ewok fella. So if we go train here, and these are upgrade droids, I think they're called, or something along those lines. But so you use one of these. I'll just use this one. You assign them, and you can see there that's going to level him up. So with the cost of credits, which I never run out of either, they're the soft currency, but they're given all the time as daily rewards and rewards for objectives, things like that. But yeah, you go on this, and then we get we will do, yep, a freshly upgraded Ewok. So he's not a massively powerful character, but that was just as an example to show you what the upgrade process is like. And again, you can add things, but you need to completely fill all of these slots before that has any impact on the character. But those are all randomly dropped or dropped during missions, which you can then return to. And so I'll show you, for example, I'll sim a mission which I already completed. So once you complete 3 stars, you need to master it first, and then you can hit that sim button, and it uses 1 of those green tokens, and then you get all the drops for that. So then you can just keep doing that until you get what you're after, which is a pretty good system as well. So again, it's all it's taking away the emphasis on the core of the battling, which you can do if you want, but there's no real need when the auto button's there. So this is the energy system here as well, which you can purchase if you run out for 50 crystals, which isn't too exorbitant, especially because crystals are given out quite readily as well. But it's also just playing through the light side or the dark side battles, I've never run out of energy. The only place you might run out of energy is here in the squad arena, which is, as I mentioned before, the PvP component, and basically, I'll do a quick one here because I'll beat them. As you can see, their power's lower than me, they're ranked 4,669. If I battle them and beat them, then I will take their spot, essentially. I just leapfrog straight into their area. So let's battle that. Here we go. So as you see here, this is mixing and matching as well. I've got heroes and villains in this lineup. This is just the best of the characters I have. There's no separation at this stage. But as you see, power will usually win out, and I have higher power than this guy. So you'd assume, unless I'm going to be forced to eat my words, you'd assume that this should be a fairly straightforward victory. But yeah, anyway, these are the only really strictly energy gated sections that you can only play one of these every 9 minutes or pay hard currency in order to continue without waiting. So that's it's a lot more harshly gated in this section, which is fine because of the light side battles being so and hardly costing any energy. You'll always have something to do, which is my main issue with wait times is when you're completely locked out of playing the game at all. Whereas here, there's always something for you to do. There's never, and here we are, as you can see, we're just about to finish this. Victory! And we did it. So this sees us leapfrog, jump places, there you go. Ranks increased from 5,356 to 4,669, so that's good. And you get rewards based on your rank, so you can see the obvious incentive for ranking up. So let's go to daily activities as well, because this is another great thing about the game. There's lots of these. You're unlocking them all the time, achievements and things like that. And as you can see, you get XP, a couple of crystals, and some materials. And I leveled up as well. But yeah, it's always giving you free things like that. And like with crystals, there's really I really felt no need to ever spend for them, because they're just given out so readily, which is great. And whether that will tighten up towards the end, certainly as I've moved forward, I think at level 16, there was like a much more expensive bundle that got offered to me for about $40, but that's the most extreme that I've seen. And even that wasn't pressured, it was a purely optional purchase. So we'll look at achievements as well. I don't think I've got any of these lately. But again, just more places that you can earn currency without having to spend money. So it's all adds to a very sort of player-friendly experience, which is very similar to Kabam's offering was a bit harsher, but very similar to Star Wars Uprising, which I also liked earlier in the year. So good year for Star Wars games on mobile. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just showing you around the monetization and how the average player will respond to that. We have a 3-tiered ranking system on the in-app inspector that we use in the articles, and on this one we went for approved, which is the top, purely because I made it so far in a relatively short period of time. I mean, not that play it like level 17 is anything to particularly write home about, but it's a relatively strong position to be in for the amount of time, and to have got there with no restrictions, which would have been utterly impossible in a lot of free-to-play games. So yeah, there's just a lot of ways of progressing without spending. And even though I did choose to spend, it was on a Dark Side starter bundle with Count Dooku, as I mentioned earlier, that character, and a few materials and some crystals and credits. But there was never a point where I ran out of either of those. There was never a point where I felt I need to spend to progress. And even with the energy system, which is often a worrying sign that things are going to be tight and the player is really going to be pressured, in this instance I didn't find that at all. So yeah, really like it. I think it's very player friendly, and I'll probably play it more, which is quite unusual for games of this series, just because I'm always moving on to the next one for the next week. So yeah, highly recommended. Okay, thank you very much for watching.